I just said it's time that we play the game the way I know how to play the game. You know?
U.S. President Donald Trump told reporters Friday that a threatened 50% tariff on EU goods beginning June 1st could be delayed if European companies start moving to the United States.
I'm not looking for a deal. I mean, we've set the deal. It's at 50%. But again, there is no tariff if they build their plant here. Now, if somebody comes in and wants to build a plant here, I can talk to them about a little bit of a delay.
Trump's broadside was first delivered in a Truth Social post where he said trade talks with the EU, quote, are going nowhere. Washington is demanding unilateral concessions from Brussels to open up to U.S. business, while the EU seeks an agreement in which both sides could gain, according to people familiar with the talks.
I don't think there is anything set in stone.
Polish Trade Minister Michał Baranowski told reporters on Friday that Trump's latest tariff threat on EU goods is just another step in their ongoing trade negotiations. The EU trade chief said the European Commission was fully committed to securing a deal that worked for both sides, following a Friday phone call with his U.S. counterpart. He added that trade must be guided by mutual respect, not threats.
I think there's significant uncertainty.
Guntram Wolf is a senior fellow at Bruegel, a Brussels-based economic think tank.
I think the European Union cannot cave in and should not try to appease Donald Trump at this point. The experience of the last couple of months is that this US president actually blinks. I mean, he actually gives in when faced with the major negative consequences of his actions. And so I think it's important to document and show that this is actually going to be very harmful for the US economy as well as for the European economy.
Trump on Friday also took aim at Apple, warning he may slap a 25% levy on all iPhones bought by U.S. consumers.
We're talking about the iPhone now, and, you know, the iPhone, if they're going to sell it in America, I want it to be built in the United States.
The President of the United States can do a lot of things.
Gil Luria, head of technology research at D.A. Davidson, says Apple needs to negotiate with the president in good faith.
Right now, it would be considerably more expensive to make an iPhone in the US. Having said that, in the longer time frame, in the 5-year and beyond time frame, that does not need to be the case. Very little of the cost of the phone has to do with the assembly labor. A lot more of it has to do with the facilities, the technology around the manufacturing, and the skill set in designing the production of the handsets. That is what we've outsourced to China, Taiwan, and elsewhere, and that is what is doable to bring in the longer time frame.
Trump said other smartphone makers like Samsung would also face a 25% tariff.
A very big announcement today. It has to do with nuclear energy and other things.
And what about the European Union? You said that negotiations are going nowhere. Where are the kind of points where they're
slow moving? I've been saying to everybody, they've treated us very badly over the years. It was formed in order to hurt the United States, in order to take advantage of the United States, and they've done that. We have a big deficit with them. They sell millions and millions of cars, as you know, Mercedes and BMW and Volkswagen and many others, and we were restricted from, essentially restricted from selling cars into the European Union, which is not nice. And I just said it's time that we play the game the way I know how to play the game. You know, they've taken advantage of other people representing this country, and they're not going to do that any longer. Yeah.
Mr. President. Secretary. Sure, I'll just add to that before going to Will. Energy security is national security.
I'm not looking for a deal. I mean, we've set the deal. It's at 50%. But again, there is no tariff if they build their plant here. Now, if somebody comes in and wants to build a plant here, I can talk to them about a little bit of a delay. But, you know, while they're building their plant, which is something I think that would be appropriate, maybe we'll determine that.
Do you
have any questions for these?
On Apple, you said this morning that if they don't make their iPhones in the U.S., you're going to hit them with a 25% tariff. Right. Do you have the power to tariff one single company? And why would you want to hurt an American company in that way?
It would be more. It would be also Samsung and anybody that makes that product. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fair. So anybody that makes that product, and that'll start on, I guess, the end of June, it'll come out. I think we have that appropriately done by the end of June. So if they make that product, now, again, when they build their plant here, there's no tariff.
Are you looking for a deal in 9 days? Will you be able to do that, sir?
I'm not looking for a deal. I mean, we've set the deal. It's at 50%. We have some really amazing deals, but the European Union, I mean, the sole purpose was really to, not to hurt us, but to take advantage of us, and we're not going to be taking
Mr.
advantage.
President,
has had the effect of throttling development of new, highly modernized nuclear reactors that could really revolutionize the field of nuclear power generation. So this executive order, it orders a revised regulatory process to speed this.
US President Donald Trump cranked up his trade threats on Friday. He targeted both smartphone giant Apple along with imports from the European Union. His latest move hit global markets after weeks of de-escalation gave some relief. Trump threatened to impose a 25% tariff on Apple for any iPhone sold but not manufactured in the US. More than 60 million phones are sold in the country annually, but the US has no smartphone manufacturing. He also said he would recommend a 50% tariff on the EU to start June 1st. It would lead to big levies on luxury items, pharmaceuticals and other goods produced by European manufacturers. George Buckley is Nomura's chief European economist.
Well, I mean, this would be a disaster for trade. It's a significant uplift in what Mr. Trump was talking about doing originally, which was the 20% reciprocal tariffs. I think a lot of people had hoped that the delegation which was being sent to the US was going to provide some ideas and concrete ways forward in which to reduce that 20% reciprocal tariff.
Markets dropped on the news. The Euro Stoxx 600 fell 2%, while S&P 500 futures lost ground in pre-market activity. Trump didn't give a time frame for his warning to Apple. It isn't clear if he can put a tariff on an individual company. Apple did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comment.
This is our great Secretary of Commerce. So, if you look at that, China, first row, China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers.